Hi guys, so Mark's been sober for 21 years and I still drink. And yeah, it was his 21st birthday, sober birthday, earlier this week. And if you're new to this channel, you won't know that Mark and I have spoken a lot about rehab, addiction, recovery, all of that. So I thought it'd be good to keep this video just to the fact that I still drink, because over the years, oh my God, the amount of times that I've been asked about this. So what's it like? So I'm just getting some more. What's it like that you're still drinking and he's not? And sometimes it's said like that, and sometimes it's like complete wonder, and other times it's like that's the dog trying to get up and go on, Danny. Yeah, you've done. So definitely lots of questions about it. So I'm not going to go into too much about recovery and about all that, because as I say, we've spoken a lot about that. But what I will just say, that we'll have said in other videos, just in case this is your first time to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's free and it helps us get the videos out to other people. What I will say is Mark and I met crazy ass, like very sort of hard working, hard playing, ADHD, crazy, bonkers people, right? And I was a massively heavy drinker. I was probably on the road to alcoholism. I was on the road to alcoholism, definitely. Anyway, long story short, I got pregnant quite quickly, so stopped drinking. Took me about a year and a half to realise in our marriage that Mark was an alcoholic. It was more than just being a bit crazy. He was actually got addiction problems. And then he went to rehab, and he's been sober for 21 years. So in the time of his sobriety, I have become a very, very moderate drinker. Like, it's very rare that in the week that I would have a drink, right? If it's just me and him. But say like my parents, my sister came over for dinner, I might have a glass of wine. If it's a school night, I've got work the next day. Most Fridays, I will have a drink or two at Loose Women. If you're new to the channel, that's a TV show I do. If you're from America, it's a bit like The View. I'm on a show like that. And I'll have a couple of drinks and then totter home. If we go out on a Saturday, I might have a drink. So that's kind of my drinking. I was like the last one at the party. I was the one taking tequila slammers, drinking vodka, dancing on the tables, talking shit until 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Would very proudly say, oh, I can drink a bottle of vodka and still walk home. I was an idiot. I was a prat. But I was also struggling with loads of shit. So first and foremost, before I get into what it's actually like to live with somebody that doesn't drink in a drink-obsessed world, I would say that I'm really grateful that he got sober, because I think I would be dead from alcohol or something, or alcohol injury, if he hadn't, because I think my life would have gone very, very tits up. But it's also a struggle sometimes. It is. But I feel, and this is maybe why I've never really spoken about this before, I feel so bad about saying that. I feel so guilty to say sometimes I'm just like, oh God, I just wish you could have a drink. Because it does impact on our lives. And Mark, it impacts on our lives in loads of brilliant ways, but we're not here to talk about that. We've talked a lot about that. We're here to talk about what it's actually like. And most of the time, it's absolutely fine. But I would just love if we could sometimes just have a couple of glasses of wine and kick back and relax. If like sometimes when he's had such a hard day and I know he's just going to be left with this, I would like him to be able to have one drink, but we know one drink will turn to 1,000, and 1,000 drinks is never enough. So that's not on the cards. I would love if when we're on holiday, we could just get pissed and get silly and be young again and lack responsibility and behave really badly. But then when I think about that and I think about missing that, I also know that if we were to go there, we wouldn't stop. So it's really complicated. A lot of people ask me if I feel guilty about drinking. And I always say, no, God no, because he doesn't mind. But actually I do. I do feel guilty. Not because I'm getting blind drunk. Most of the time you would hardly know if I'm having a drink because I control it a bit. So say we go out for a meal. Like yesterday we went out for a meal. We were both really quite upset because we'd just seen a really upsetting film. And he said, oh, what do you want? Have whatever you want. I went, no. You just know, have what you want. So I had a glass of rosé. And I started to feel a little bit warmer and a little bit jollier. But then I suppressed that because I don't want him to notice that difference and not be able to have it. Not that he ever says it to me. He always says, oh my God, the last thing I want to be is a recovering alcoholic that's sitting there like wishing everybody else wasn't drinking. He said, I don't want a drink. It's not like I'm ever sitting there thinking, oh my God, I really want a drink. It's not that. It's not that. And yes, I never look at you having a drink, think, wish I could have a drink. But I'm I suppress it. So say like I've got some people around and we're having a few drinks, which is very rare, very, very rare. I don't really have people over that much. And that sometimes makes me sad because I'm very sociable. But I only sort of have, it's weird. What do I mean? Like say, because we do have people around, I'm saying, but like in the old days, I would have people all the time around, you know. But say like I've got people around and we're all having a glass of wine and we're having a giggle. Say it's just the girls and then it gets a bit raucous. That would still go on, but I do feel bad about it. Because I think that hilarity and that silliness that you can get with alcohol, you must feel so left out. He must feel so left out. And so I do feel guilty about it. And sometimes when people say, you know, but God, what's it like oh God, are you, like even on this channel, like sometimes when people say, oh, but that you having that alcohol and Mark's not, and I just think, God, have I gone on for so long? And is he really, really suffering with it? And I don't know. And am I prepared to give up alcohol completely? And my answer is always no. And that's not because I drink a lot, but that's like, I like to sometimes have a couple of drinks. He's never said to me, I wish you wouldn't. He's unbelievably generous about it. But if I go to a restaurant and I'm having a meal, I like to have a glass of wine. And it's really interesting for me talking about this out loud because I don't ever talk about it like this. And I'm picking my words and I want to be completely unfiltered. And I want to go, sometimes it's really fucking annoying. If I'm really honest, sometimes it's so annoying. It's not annoying all the time, but sometimes I think, oh God, I wish we could just have a drink together. And part of why I don't say this is because of the way I know Mark thinks. And Mark might think, because he struggled a lot with jealousy in the past and because he overthinks everything and because I know he adores me and he worries about losing me, not that he ever would, Mark, if you're watching this. I know that his thought will go, God, what if it becomes so unbearable that she wants to be with somebody that she can have a few drinks with? Well, that is never the case. I never think, God, I wish, oh my God, this relationship, I need to be with somebody that can have a drink. No, because he's such an amazing husband in so many fucking brilliant ways. And when I look at men of his age that are still drinking, they all look like shit. And none of them are as kind or as thoughtful or as any of those things. But that doesn't mean that I sometimes just go, oh, I wish we could just have a drink together. I wish we could get just a bit pissed. And just get a bit beyond where we are with the harsh reality, day in, day out, of just the clear sobriety of the world. Now, Yeah, I wish alcohol had never been brought into the world, because none of us have learned how to deal with our emotions. We tend to go, oh, look, have a stiff drink. Oh, God, I need a drink. Oh, it's the end of the week. Let's have a drink. Let's go out and have a drink. Everything is that. And that's actually not the right or healthy way to live. But that is the world that I live in and he lives in. And sometimes I want to be a part of that world and I can't be. But even saying that, it sounds so fucking selfish, because everything I've got I love. And it's not a major part of my thinking this. It's just because I'm doing this video about what is it actually like. And it is actually like, sometimes it's really difficult. But we're talking, so imagine, this is why it's difficult for me to talk about it. This is why it's difficult for me to be unfiltered and say it's fucking difficult. Is because I'm saying it's difficult for me that he doesn't take this drug. Oh, God, there's somebody at the bloody door. Hang on a minute. Sorry, but does anybody else get pissed off about this? A delivery person will be at the door shouting because they're on the phone to someone. That made my heart go absolutely crazy, because nobody's here and I thought it was literally somebody I was going to have a fight with at the door. It's just a bloody parcel. Yeah, so what was I saying? I was saying that, like, why I find it so difficult to in any way moan about it. And I'm not moaning, I'm just telling you, aren't I? Is because imagine if it was any other drug, right? And imagine if I was sitting there saying, God, it's just so annoying. I just wish sometimes Mark could do heroin as well. Oh, God, it's so annoying because I just wish Mark, why can't he just sometimes do a speedball? You'd all go, what the fuck? What, so you can just have those? Well, just because alcohol is legal, is still a drug. So for me to say, I wish sometimes he could do this drug with me, I feel, because that is literally what I think about. And I can't help it. Sometimes I do, you know. I wrote down a few things that people have asked me over the years. Do I ever relax about it? I do. Why I keep pausing is because I'm having to undo all the lies that I tell and all the lies that I've been told for 21 years. Yeah, all the time I do mental check-ins. What's the lie I usually tell? The lie I usually tell is, no, because it's fine. He doesn't mind if I just want to drink. No, but I do mental check-ins. But what I would say, I'm also doing mental check-ins that keep my drinking safe for me. Because I said earlier, I could have ended up a hopeless alcoholic. Yeah. So what's another one that people ask me all the time? How do you balance your own freedom with alcohol and have the respect for his recovery? This is difficult. So I will go out and have a few drinks with my friends, but I wouldn't have a drink when I got back. I wouldn't go, oh, that was great, I'm just going to have another one now. If it's just me and him on a holiday, I might have one night where I get fairly pissed, but I wouldn't drink anything like I would if it was just the two of us on holiday. So that's the way I'm respecting it all the time. But listen to what I'm saying, because oh God, then we nearly lost the battery. This is going well. Listen to what I'm saying there, because I'm also respecting, aren't I, my own health. And we have a much realer relationship of it. A much realer relationship because we're not masking stuff over with alcohol. We have to face the tough things in our relationship that anyone might have that they might just solve with a bottle or two of Chablis. Well, yeah, do we still miss drinking together? We do. We both miss drinking together. But we can get pretty silly pretty quickly. I think the thing that stops us being silly the most is having to be a fucking grown-up. Kids. Mortgages. All our politics, all of that is what brings us down, probably more. What happens socially? How do you handle parties? This bit makes me feel sad, actually, because a lot of the time I'm single because Mark doesn't really come to anything at all. If people didn't know, they would think that I am not married or I haven't got a partner, because, and people say, oh, bring Mark, or great, or bring Mark along, or that'll be great, you know, Mark. And I always think, and I smile, but I know I'm not, there's no way he's going to come. And that is sometimes something I get really frustrated with Mark, because I think, yeah, you're in recovery. Yeah, you say it's great, I can still have a good time, but you still have a good time just with us. You will not, like, I used to love going dancing with him, and we'd put music on and we'd dance. We don't do that because it gives him euphoric recall, which makes him think he wants to drink. And when I see other people that are in sobriety that still go out and might leave earlier, you know, fine with that. But no, there is no social life outside of our home. And I've just got so used to it. I've got so used to just going in my head, oh no, Mark won't come when people, I mean, just think about that. You know, being married 25 years, it's really hard. He never comes anywhere with me. Handful of times, maybe half a dozen times over the years. So that is very, very, very difficult. But what I would say is, if he does come with me, I feel very anxious, because I'm anxious for him, because he has anxiety. So I get very anxious about any small talk or anything like that, because I know that he'll be just panicking like a crazy person inside. He can't do small talk, he overcompensates, he's over nice, he gives too much because he feels like he mustn't look like he's judging anybody having a drink or anything. So I find that really exhausting. And I hope he doesn't listen to this, because he'll overthink it. And this is just something in our relationship. It's not everything. Do you know what I mean? We can have that in our relationships about anything that we bring up, can't we? But the person can then think, oh my God, is that what they're thinking all the time? Do you ever worry it will trigger him? Never. I never think that me having a drink will make Mark have a drink. And this is a really important thing, actually, because people say, oh, don't you think there should be no alcohol in the house? Don't you think you should never drink? This is the world we're in. And this was Mark that dictated all of this when he came out of rehab. I said, what do we do? Do we not have any alcohol? He went, no, because that's an unreal world. And I've got to go out and I've got to be around people drinking. So I want alcohol around me exactly as it was before. But then about 4 years ago, I was really scared. He came back from a meeting, and an AA meeting, and there had been a guy there that said he'd had, 30 years sobriety or something. And one day he opened the fridge, and in the fridge door was a bottle of wine, and he just picked it up and drank it. And I was like, fuck, do I take this for granted that he's all right? But I did say that to Mike. He said no, because he decided somewhere in his head, way before he opened that door, that he was going to take a drink. And if there hadn't been anything in the door, he would have gone out and got a drink. That's what he said. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that was a successful chat. So if there are more questions you want to ask. It was interesting hearing myself going to not my lies, I think that's too harsh, but the way that I think is the right way to speak about it. That's what I would say. It's been interesting hearing that. So, yeah. If there's anything else you would like to know, you can ask me anything. Just ask me anything in the comments below. Thank you. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Yeah. Lots of love.